Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the National Outreach's first talk show. Today, for the first time ever, me and Aryan are here together.
Yeah, the name's just wrong. That's all. Other than that, we're here and alive.
So, I just want to welcome everyone coming in, listening to us. I hope you guys are doing well, staying safe. So, on our agenda today, firstly, we will be talking about the coronavirus. So, Aryan, what are your thoughts about the coronavirus?
I think it's getting out of hand. I'm not trying to be political or anything, but it's really getting out of hand. I mean, 150,000 deaths. That's about, if I'm correct, I think 45 9/11s or something around that. That's a lot of deaths.
Before, it used to be caring about the people, but now it's just becoming political.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be very.
Now
I'm not.
between it's now between Republic and Democratic.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah.
Masks aren't supposed to have a political meaning, and I think this is my thing. I'm not trying to represent the national outreach here. That, how do I say this? Masks became political because the Democrats wanted them, but at the same time, Republicans don't complain about clothing, which is like a mask, but at the same time, masks are a bit more annoying than clothes, and everybody wants clothes. Nobody wants to.
Yeah. When I go out, I always wear a mask. I'm pretty sure when Aryan goes out, he always wears a mask because a mask is one step closer to containing the virus. If everyone in the world could wear a mask, the cases and deaths would be very down right now.
And again, the national outreach, as a disclaimer, is not trying to be political. Recommending masks is a simple scientific fact.
And there a study that I was actually looking at yesterday done by Harvard. It shows that cloth masks are more effective than N95 mask. So Aryan, what type of mask do you wear?
On a normal basis, I use a surgical mask. Usually, and some of these surgical masks were made way before the pandemic. My surgical mask was made in 2019. But
They say for normal people, non-surgical is better. But I believe surgical is better because it's just a little bit more layer of protection. But yeah,
something else that also made sense that I do is if you take a air filter or any HP or HEPA filter and you cut it out into a circular shape, you can put it inside your mask and you have like almost 100% protection, or at least I think it is.
I
So
heard if you put a coffee filter in it, it's actually very safe. But people say that there's
at
many
the same time,
different.
I wouldn't like hold a coffee filter up to my mouth and protect
Yeah.
myself with it.
So I wear a cloth mask. I have made it at home, and it's pretty good so far. I I rarely wear a disposable one, and when I do wear it, I wear non-surgical. And since you can't really find a lot of masks now, I just spray it and then leave it outside for a day.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
So our next topic is schools reopening, right?
hmm so
Mm,
what do you think about the schools reopening?
I really think I personally think it's extremely dumb.
Hmm.
I know that may sound
So,
really, it just, I know that may sound really weird, but it's just that when we had maybe 10 cases per county, for Broward counties, I remember, and I lived near Houston, right? In one county near Houston, there was there was two cases. They had a press conference for the second case because it was so big, right? But
so
that's when schools closed. Now we have about, I think, 300 deaths or 200 deaths just in that county, and that county wants to let schools open. So it's kind of confusing how that works.
So in Texas, where we live, the first case that was reported was in Bexar County, which is near San Antonio. But that person was an evacuee, so as soon as they got it, they evacuated him from the area and made him quarantine. And then the second case was actually where we live, Fort Bend County. And then it just started getting worse and worse and worse. So if you think about it, how the U.S. cases are, we never went down. We've always been just shooting. We've always been skyrocketing. So that's what the fear of schools is that when they let students go to school, how protective are they going to be? How safe are they going to be? Because in
Yeah,
school you have to have all personal contact. You can't, and children can't really wear a mask for long because they need some breathing air. So that's what parents and teachers are really concerned about.
that's another reason kids aren't going to wear masks, or even I won't wear a mask, and I think everybody knows my age. Um, it's it's the mask, wearing masks, having to social distance, having to plan all of that. It's too much. Even the people who are thinking about reopening schools aren't even thinking about that. And really, online is not so bad. I mean, you get the lesson, you do it. Maybe you don't get as much, teacher time as you would in the class. So some people think, but actually, most teachers have office hours where you can contact them. It's about a 2 hour block period where you can contact them. And some teachers, you can contact them the whole day. So I think that's not a good excuse.
So what do you think about the hybrid plan many schools are putting in place?
That is probably even worse than reopening schools. Because, so let's say I'm a kid, okay? I'm in 12th grade and I'm finishing up 12th grade, right? Now I'm about to go into college or everything, right? So if I'm doing my schoolwork at home and I'm doing my schoolwork at school, where do I do my exam? Do I do my exam online? Because let's say I go to school and somebody else stays home, and then I go home and somebody else goes to school. So do then one of those people do their exam at school, like their end of year exam for 12th grade? Do one of them do it at home? And does that give one of them an unfair advantage? So when they go to college next year, one of them ends up getting to Harvard, the other one doesn't.
Yeah. So one other thing is that when you go in school full time, if you
Hmm.
get the virus, you'll spread it at school, and at the school they say that it's much easier to contaminate.
Yeah, because you touch a
But
pencil,
if you're
somebody
at
else
home,
touches it.
when you go home and if you spread it, all your parents go everywhere. They have to go to the groceries, the work, your
It's,
grandparents if you have any at home. They are elders and they are at a very high risk.
it's whenever you infect a person in a family, it's almost like obvious, like it's like 100% that you're gonna infect the rest of the members. So let's say you have maybe 1,000 kids in a school. Okay, that's about. I feel I have my elementary school after 1,000 kids. So, but that's a little bit too much than normal. So let's say your elementary school has 800 or 700 kids, and if you take away all like the twins and everything, you have maybe 600 or 500 kids. Those kids don't go infect their families. Let's say on average, they have families of 4. Okay, um, that's about 2,000 people that you just infected from one school. And then whenever you infect, let's say you infect a second grader. The second grader has a brother who's in 7th grade. That whole school will be infected. And then let's say that 7th grade, and let's say the 7th grader doesn't spread it. Chances are other kids in the elementary school have relatives in the middle school, and they'll also spread it too. Same thing will happen with middle school to high school, and I think high school to college will, really not be there, not really be any transmission. But between elementary, middle school, and high school, even between elementary and high school alone, there's going to be so much contact. And then you have the parents to worry about, which, are their parents. If your parents are sick, chances about 2% of them will die. And out of all those parents in that system, it's about, let's say, 500 parents.
Mm-hmm.
20 of them will die. And 20 of them dying is not a good thing. And you want to do that all because you want to send kids back to school with a mask, social distancing, revolving classes, making sure that they don't affect anybody. You know how many kids will die? That's about maybe 100 or 200 or 300 kids.
Yeah. So there's new studies coming out that kids are actually more uh, vulnerable to the virus, and they can get it very easily, and then they can spread it. They 10 to 19 can spread at the same rate as adults, and maybe even more. And then
Yeah. The kids in high school actually basically have as much transmission, ability as 18 to 29-year-olds, which we're seeing a huge spike in. So really, how do you know that they're not just going to send kids back to school? 2 days later, the whole high school gets spiked up.
one person in Georgia, one it was the first day of school when the schools just reopened. One one person tested positive on the first day of school. It's really dangerous, and
Yeah, and you see these
yeah.
camps that literally they like had negative coronavirus tests on file. They had masks for the owners. They had designated groups. One person tested positive. 270 people then tested positive, and then a few died. So do you really want to be responsible for dying just because you decide to send kids back to school for no reason when you can easily teach them online? I mean, a few people might have their concerns about being online, but really, is it worth your child's lives?
China, even though there are some false rumors about China, I believe China actually did a good job on containing the virus. They were able to slow down the spread and actually reopen slowly and carefully. Sure, there was one little spike in Beijing, but still they were able to quickly contaminate it. So that brings me to my next point. It is a article that is written on our website. It's how the U.S. is fighting COVID-19 versus the rest of the world.
Hmm.
So the United States was first not concerned with COVID-19, but now they are the epicenter of the world. The U.S. is losing the battle to COVID-19, no doubt about that. Let's see how other countries were able to stop the spread. So in China, they had an immediate lockdown, mandatory mask order that no one had problems with, because they were masked there on a daily basis due to the air pollution. The businesses there shut down quickly. Social distancing was enforced and followed, and again, they reopened slowly and carefully, not like the U.S. that opened fastly and not safely. Then you have Iran. They had an immediate lockdown. Testing was available for free everywhere. Businesses shut down quickly. Government took quick action to shut down mosques, borders, and worldwide trading, and they reopened carefully. Australia and New Zealand. So currently, Australia and New Zealand are seeing a huge spike in cases, but before they were able to slow down with the again immediate lockdown, mandatory order that mask order that was followed. Social distancing followed. It wasn't enforced, but it was followed there. They shut down all businesses at once. They stopped international flights from actually coming in. They reopened slowly and carefully, and then they follow pool testing, which is if you have a large group, you test one person out of that, and if that person tests positive, then you move forward with testing the other people. If that tests negative, you test maybe one or two other people and see how it is. So we will talk about pool testing in our next section, which we were going to talk about vaccine research, and we will talk about that in about 2 minutes.
Well, again, so, and just in this small intermission, I wanted to bring back the China thing. Yes, China, according to the numbers, may be doing good, but at the same time, you have to hold them accountable. I'm not trying to seem Republican and Democrat on this, but China is obviously a communist country, and personally, I don't really trust communist countries because I think, we've all seen evidence of China holding back information, collecting, that kind of stuff. And they could easily be doing the same thing with this virus. They could not be testing anybody, They could have so many asymptomatic cases. And just...
Yeah. So anyways,
so they caused so many deaths. They caused close to 700,000 deaths. It's been a long time since you heard about the worldwide death number, but it's at 692,000. And they caused 18.4 million cases. That's a lot of hardship.
so
And the fact that they just brought this virus in, through their white markets, which have been banned in America.
Capital MANDATORY.
I am so sorry about that. I have no idea how that happened. That's our joke of the day for kids news. So Aryan, moving on to vaccine research. So when do you think a vaccine could be ready by? Hello?
Okay, do you want me to be optimistic or do you want me to be realistic?
Realistic.
Pessimistic. Realistically, I would say, when it's ready or when it's in use.
Just when do you think it'll be ready to be?
It'll be ready. I think it'll be ready to be able to be used by the general public around March, and it'll be released in January. Because it's not like you can, as soon as it gets out there, just publish it to everybody.
Yeah. So.
And that's being realistic.
So how?
If I'm really pessimistic about it, I could say these trials aren't moving really fast, and I could say it will be ready by May for widespread use. And if I'm feeling really optimistic, everybody will start using it by January.
But when it gets approved, which is probably going to be November and December end of this year, it will take weeks of chaotic distribution to get everywhere, and then it's the order of who will get it. So first it'll be healthcare workers, frontline workers, then elders, then children, and then it'll go out to the general public. By then, it's like you have a whole another Black Death plague.
That's the thing, though.
But once there is
healthcare workers get the vaccine, if healthcare workers get the vaccine while they have the virus, that's going to be catastrophic. Because if you've ever seen any reports on giving a vaccine, one of the number one rules are you can't have the virus at the same time. Or at least that's what I've heard. I may be wrong, so don't take that as medical advice, but it seems something that I've seen before.
So our talk show is actually sponsored by another news company. They have not paid for it, but they are supporting us. It is called the Dario Clan. It has gaming news. Their website is also through WordPress. It is dariogaming.wordpress.com.
They are our gaming news partners, by the way. And coming up, thanks for watching. I mean, coming up, sorry, we have an FAQ, and we're basically finished. And by the way, thanks for watching this long, um, and listening to this. So as a special treat, you will be the first people to know, currently right now, that we are planning to have a meeting with the United States state leader. I won't specify who, but we will have a meeting with a state representative soon, or leader, sorry.
We will give you new information, but that's just a surprise. We are not, it is not confirmed or for sure yet, but if we get any more information, we will let you guys know on our website and through our mail, and through our email, and through SMS. Also, one other thing is that we are currently working on converting our website to an app. We will still have our website, but we're still trying to. So we are hoping by probably the end of the year we will have an app for our website. Okay, and it is time for our frequently asked questions session. So, Aryan, did you get the list of questions I sent you?
Well, I have one question I want to answer on my own. Um, a lot of people have asked me, how can I help you? Like, they want to help make this awesome news website even better, but they don't know what to do because, it's not like they've been told by anybody. So something amazing that people can do is give us content. I'm sorry, but that is probably the best thing that anybody can do to help us. You can either go to an article website like articlestudio.com and give us copy and pasted articles, and which is perfectly legal because those are article websites, and we'll reprint them for you. Or if you can write content yourself, you give it to us, will be so much better because we can use your content.
Yes. One other thing that you can do is email us at thenationaloutreach@gmail.com and
With tips.
ask us to join our team, and we will send you an interview form that we have set up. So we are not going to put our interview form on the website until we are ready with it and publish it. So I actually have a list of questions that many people ask us. So one thing that is not on our website and many people ask me is, how did the national outreach start? So we actually started out with SMS messages. Me and Aryan would find news articles and then just send it to people. But then we started writing them and sending it, and then we got more and more people interested, and Aryan here actually was on ahead and created a website for us, and then I made some edits and we finally published it, where we have a place where people can go and actually read the news. One other question that we have is, do we have a phone number? No, we do not have a phone number. We are working on that too, to get a phone number that is able for you guys to use. Aryan, do you have any frequently asked questions you
I
get?
do not at all.
One other one that we get frequently is, can I share your website with other people? Yes, you may. You are more than welcome to share. I would actually highly recommend if you share our website so that we can expand and become bigger.
And you can also embed our content if you can find a way to embed it, and you can embed our YouTube videos. And you don't even have to quote. You don't even have to cite us. It's perfectly legal again. Just embed us if you want to cite us, and you're good.
And there are two more frequently asked questions, but before we get to that, Aryan here will talk to you about our Picasso contest, about August, and our July winner, Erhana Karsalya. Aryan?
1 second. Something's taking a small intermission because something happened. Technical difficulties.
So I'm actually going to talk about
Yeah, there you go.
July's winner. So July's winner was Erhana Krasalia. She did an amazing job on her piece of art. So she won first place. So her drawing is on our website for the whole month of August. So she did an amazing masterpiece of a diamond painting. So that's when you take a pen and you have little numbers on a template, and then you place little diamonds on them. And it was of the Guardian of the Galaxy character Groot with Infinity Gauntlet from Marvel Avengers. In fourth place, we had Jason Bogat. He drew the Eiffel Tower on Apple using an Apple pencil. In third place, we had Krishna Kadakia. She painted a waterfall. In second place, we had Hershey Desai, who did a heart with some nature included in it. So again, August Picasso contest is the same thing, just this time we have a theme and it's nature. So Aryan, our second to last frequently asked question is, how and what do we use to create our website? Can you explain and answer that question?
WordPress.com, and we used the blogging material, but instead made it into news material.
Shout out to WordPress.com. Thank you guys so much.
Although we are not endorsed by them, and we do not endorse them ourselves.
Yes, but just shout out to them. They really helped us get to this way. And our last frequently asked question is, how do we make our logos? Aryan, will you answer that?
Okay. We went to looka.com and we made a logo, and we took a screen file of the image and we turned it into a PNG, and we also into transparent PNG, sorry. So that's the one that we use on our tab header that you can see at the top whenever you open it in Google Chrome. And we also made a version of the logo, a screen file that has a black background and the golden circle thing that you can see on the front of our website. So those are the two logos that I believe that we've made, and we made them both through Looka. So a shout out to Looka, but we do not endorse them and they do not endorse us.
Yeah, so it looks like our time with you guys is done. We hope that you guys had a great time listening to us, listening to our talk show. We hope again that you guys are safe, like I always say in our podcast and today. Aryan, would you like to say some closing words?
Not really, I'm good.
Anyway, so this was our first talk show. We are hoping to have some more talk shows that we can post on YouTube. And yeah, so again, I would like to say thank you guys for listening in, and hope
many of you may have remembered our old logo, which I think Steve can open now.
Have a great day. Thank you for listening. This is the National Outreach, where we're locally based, but we aim
for outreach.